many African cultures, shangazi is more than just an aunt. Kama kawaida huwa tunamuona ni kama she represents a strong central figure in the family, who is often looked as a wisdom figure and a person of authority. There's even a Kiswahili saying that says shangazi ni baba. In English translated, meaning the aunt holds the same power as the father when he is not around. So let me give you a bit of history for now. So the title Shangazi took on a new life in Tanzania during the Magufuli era, especially after a speech he gave in 2018 that threatened violence against protesters, even invoking the image of beating their Shangazis. So that actually sparked a lot of outrage and mobilized many outspoken women, consisting of lawyers, activists, and academics, who began reclaiming the Shangazi title as a badge of resistance and strength. So today, Shangazi is actually a name we give to women across East Africa who challenge authoritarianism, fighting for human rights, and who stand firm against patriarchy. And through our project Shangazi Power, we have an ongoing project called Shangazi Power, which is part of the wider Shangazi network. We have been documenting some of these stories of these women, and building solidarity, ama umoja. So we're always delighted to expand this network, this union, and invite you to connect and learn and grow within this powerful community of women. So if you want to learn more about this, you can head over to our YouTube channel, that is Mwanzo TV, under the playlist Shangazi Power. You can be able to check out some of the interviews we've done with different women from different backgrounds, age groups, social statuses, and advocacy fields. You can be able to see what this whole network is all about. So shifting back to our conversation for tonight, we are diving into a topic that is very important and very urgent, as I said at the beginning. As you've seen, we are calling this space Young, Fearless, and Female, but it's actually more than that. We are asking something that is very important. What does courage actually look like when the threat is both online and on ground? And something else that's important to point out is that we are having this conversation on the eve of tomorrow's anticipated protest and anniversary. It marks the 1 year anniversary of the Gen Z led protests that challenged the nation to rethink leadership. It challenged our leaders to think about justice and youth advocacy. Um, and to tie it down to when it comes to women, we know many women, including some here tonight, that are facing the fear, the pressure, and the risk of showing up again or even speaking up. So that's what makes this important, this conversation important and so real and so raw and so necessary to highlight tonight. So probably, if my co-host has been able to join, yes, I'm actually seeing her. Uh, Ruth, I have sent you another invitation because this space was we were doing it in collaboration with Kariobangi Social Justice Center, and Ruth Ogola is a representative. She'll be able to tell us more about that shortly as we proceed with the conversation. So Ruth, if you can hear me, I've already sent you a request. Um, I want you to introduce yourself before you can kick off the conversation and also hear from our speakers. I'm seeing already they're there. Ruth, if you've been able to join in, let me know. I'm trying to see if you're here. Okay, we can move on before she can be able to join in. So let's hear from I want to introduce our speakers for tonight. So I'll briefly just introduce them, and then we'll ask them to share who they are, where they're joining us from, and what the word courage means to them right now. Then afterwards, probably if Ruth Atakuwa may join in, she can lead us into the first discussion. So we have Christine. Christine, I'm not sure if you've joined, but we have Christine Khabuya. That's Executive Director of Kenny Community Organization. She's a peace, security, and human rights activist based in Mombasa, working to ensure women and youth are meaningfully included in decision making and community development. We also have Mary Wanjiru Gichuki. She's a youth leadership and governance advocate. She's a trainer, facilitator, and a board member, of course, with strong voice for inclusive governance and leadership that reflects among the people. That's the youth. And then we also have Sharon Mwenesi, a citizen journalist from Wateule Haki Center. Sharon is a youth advocate and a champion who uses grassroots storytelling and advocacy to amplify the truth. So probably let each speaker say a brief hello and just define what courage means to them right now. So probably I'll start with Sharon and then we go to Mary. Karibu.
Thank you so very much. And good afternoon, good evening, sorry. Yeah, it's evening. Good evening, everyone. And thank you, Mwanzo TV, for holding space for this critical conversation. My beautiful name is Mwenesi Sharon, and I proudly stand as a human rights defender, activist, and also the founder of Wateule Haki Center, which is in Korogocho, Nairobi. Korogocho is usually when people introduce it, they say it's a slum. Well, for me, I say it's a place that is full of so much life. It's a place of very courageous people and people who have refused to be forgotten. You know, it's also a place where injustice is like it's part of our daily life. You know, where young people are criminalized because they are poor, and where women and girls face violence, they face stigma, and then they are silenced. You know, so this center, we started the center with a very simple but a very powerful vision, I would say, and Ioni, that justice should not just depend na mahali penye umezaliwa. You know, that is why to create a very safe space ya kuorganize for education na pia ya kubuild power of the people. And tunafanyanga hizi vitu zote through a lot of like we've taken the trajectory of doing it through legal aid. Tunafanya pia civic education and advocacy, you know, and we also mobilize the community, and we work tirelessly to hold the state accountable, and to also make sure that hakuna mtu yoyote mwenye ako invisible in the eyes of the law. So as a woman, I know firsthand the pain na resilience of being a woman kwa hii system yenye wasn't really built to protect us as women. That is why this fight for us, or for me personally, is very personal. And working closely with survivors of gender-based violence, tuna campaign against femicide, tuna campaign against child marriage, you know, police brutality. We also again push for policies zenye zina protect rights and lives za wanawake na wasichana Korogocho, and even beyond. Um, so for me, it's just to say enough is enough. We are tired of kukua victims. CC victims. We are leaders, and we are actually taking up these spaces, you know, and hatutaki voices zetu kukua ignored any longer. So that is why activism, like, this is more than activism, I would say. And to give it a word, maybe I would say this is survival, this is resistance. this is the love that we have for our communities and that we have for this country and the people that are in it. So me, I'm here today not just to speak, but to also listen, not here just for my community, but for the country as a whole. Because I hold the belief of, if Kenya changes for good, if everything like the rule of law inafuatwa, Tanzania follows, Uganda follows, East Africa, the rest of Africa, and I believe that is what we all want as a nation. So yeah, I hope I haven't talked too much. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Sharon. No, 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 no. You have not talked too much. This is a free space for talking. So don't feel like you're limited in any way. Um, Probably now we get to hear from Mary, a brief introduction, and then I'm also seeing Christine has joined in. Then we'll hear from Christine as well. Karibu.
Hello, good evening. My name is Mary Wanjiru Gichuki. I'm a young person who is passionate about youth and governance, and I'm very passionate about organizing, mobilizing. I've been in movements where great things have been done, and one of the movement is Activista. Currently, I sit at the Secretariat of Youth Serving Organization Consortium. And for me, what courage means is showing up, like today, showing up here. It took courage, as we have known. Albert lost his life because of a tweet. Us using this social media platform to even speak about tomorrow, for me, that's courage. Us coming here, I've seen Kenyans making Sirini numbers trend, like people calling out for accountability. For me, that is courage. And I'm very much looking forward to this conversation and deliberation. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Mary, for that powerful introduction. Christine, if you can hear me, go ahead and introduce yourself as well. Before I also hand it back to my co-host, Ruth, representing Kariobangi Social Justice Center, to also give a brief introduction. Ruth, I think you can go ahead before Christine is able to join in. I'm still trying to see if I can add her speaker. So Ruth, you can go ahead. Ruth, can you hear me? I'm seeing you've already joined in with the Kariobangi Social Justice Center account. You can turn on your mic and briefly introduce yourself before we hear from Christine.
Hello, revolutionary greetings, everyone. My name is Ruth Ogola from Kariobangi Social Justice Center, a woman rights defender, and I'm so glad holding or co-hosting this conversation today together with Mwanzo TV, the Shangazi team. And the way I had some technical issues, and now we are so fine. I'm looking forward to also hearing from the listeners, because we are not just here to hear from our speakers, but also the listeners, as we are looking forward for tomorrow. Because najua sisi wote wenye tumekama hapa kwa hii conversation, we will be on the ground. And vile tu Mary amesema Gishuki, that us holding this conversation at this time, at this moment, it shows courage. And it means that we are very ready for tomorrow, that nothing will stop us from showing up tomorrow for our country. Yeah. Back to you,
Thank
Joy.
you so much. Thank you so much, Ruth. Christine, karibu sana. I had actually already started by introducing you briefly. So we'd like to hear from you who you are, where what organization you're representing, and what courage means to you right now. Karibu, Christine.
Good evening, all. Viva Comrade Viva. My name is Kristen Khabuya. I work with the Amkeni Community Organization, which is a social justice center in Nyali, that is Mombasa County. And what courage means for me, especially right now, we as women and the youth at large, we are supposed to be courage itself. So courage for me, at least it stands, I can define it as at a time where our oppressors need us to be scared, not to speak and not to stand out or to stand up. That's the time when that is for ability and whatever that is just. Courage for me is really sure that it matters. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you, Christine. We'll sure hear more from you as we continue the conversation. Probably, if I can hand it back to you, Ruth, to kick us off with the opening question, or rather discussion about tomorrow. Ruth, if you can hear me, take it away.
Yes, I can. Thank you so much, Joy. Yeah, so as you've listened from Joy, that we are talking, or we are conversing on how well are we prepared for tomorrow. Are we showing up? Are we not showing up? Are we scared? Are we confused if we should show up or not? Also considering a lot of messages that you've listened to, or rather that you've seen from people in the political spaces, people from parastatals, people that are in our community, wale watu wanatumika kama goons, ama wale watu wanakwanga au ndio kusema taekwondo kwa hizo community. Na pia tumesikia from the Ruto himself saying that tomorrow we should respect the police officers. Yeah, we respect them and listen to them, obey and respect the police officers. On the other hand, we are seeing media, both printed and also the mainstream media, showcasing how, allow me to use goon leads, how they've been tweeting on their X spaces, how they've been organizing, how they are planning to ruin tomorrow's protest, or rather demonstration, that we are saying that we now marking as anniversary, since our comrades, our brothers, our neighbors, our relatives were shot dead, not by any other person, but by the state, not because they were stealing, not because they were in a crime, which also there is no law that says that if you are a thief, you should be gunned down, or 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 you should be shot. These are people who are fighting for this Kenya. These are people who are opposing the Finance Bill 2024. These are people who are fearless, who are courageous enough to say that I must fight for this nation. Following on what has been happening, people have been going for demos, and a lot of us here, we've been going for demos. It is not something that we are speaking out of blues. We've been on the streets. Some of us have been on the streets since 2018. So to my listeners and my speakers, how are you feeling about tomorrow's demonstration? Are you feeling afraid? Are you feeling tense? Are you going to show up? Ama umeingiza baridi? How are you feeling first? I just like to listen. How are you feeling? I'll start by Mary Gichuki. How are you feeling? Are you prepared? Because mtu kama mimi sioni nikilala naongoja kesho ni kama ifike in the next 2 minutes. Then I'll be on the street. Yeah, kesho hata sisi kwa kazi, we have a national duty to do. Karibu sana Gichuki.
Hello. Thank you so much for the question. How am I feeling today? I don't know. It's a mixture feeling of knowing that one, already Kenyans have set precedents, being that across the nation people are talking about tomorrow. So in one way or another, either people might not show up in the street, but one thing is that people will be working from home, those who don't want to be in the mixture of it all. And for me, that's already showing how powerful we are as citizens. How am I feeling? It has been a very heavy week remembering comrades who were killed, tortured, abducted by the state, and their only crime was demanding for a better Kenya, asking the Finance Bill 2024, which is very punitive, has been passed. How am I still feeling? It's 1 year down the line, and today we had political class, people from political class, saying that as much as the 2025 last year, the finance bill was not passed in June, it was passed in December. Having a political class that does not listen, having a political class that doesn't read the room, having a political class that is far away and doesn't understand, as we say, vitu kwa ground is different, having a political class who live in a bubble, having a political class who was celebrating the other day saying that the finance bill was passed 97%. And if you see, it's still punitive. A political class that doesn't even really care about us. It's only that today we saw that they say they're going to visit the parents and the relatives of comrades who were lost last year. It took them 1 year to think about it. So for me today, it's about anger. For me, it's about unkept promises. For me today, I feel let down by the people we elected, by the people we expect to front our issues, by the same people who are now laughing at us, making us. So tomorrow for me, as much as I'm scared, I'm still hopeful that we're going to march. We're going to get justice for all the people who are killed. We are going to take back our power, because our constitution says the sovereign power belongs to the people. Yes, I won't lie and say I'm not scared. I'm scared. But tomorrow I'm hopeful. Tomorrow I'll wake up early, and tomorrow I will be in the street. Back to you. Back to you, Ruth.
Thank you so much, Mary. And you can listen and you can feel how Mary Wanjiru is talking. How Kenyans are eager. Mary just represents a number of thousands of us or a million of us. How you are feeling. You are scared, but you are hopeful. We are scared, but you must show up. We are scared, but we are angered. We must show up no matter what. Thank you so much, Mary, for that. Miss Mwenesi,
Ruth,
can you listen from?
yes, probably, sorry to cut you short. Probably we also hear from one of our listeners before we go back to our speakers. We just get the
Okay.
perspective of what is happening. Yeah, I'm seeing there's Victor. Victor, probably could briefly just tell us your personal sentiments about tomorrow, how you're feeling, and what courage looks like for you tonight, tomorrow, moving forward. Victor, if you can hear me, I'm seeing you've requested to speak, Victor Muteki. So quickly, if you can give us your sentiments on this before we proceed, because we have much to talk about and we have much to hear from the speakers. Victor, if you're not ready, seeing there's someone here who has also requested. Malama Witi, you can go ahead and give us your perspective on this.
So thank you so much. My name is Habib Omar. I'm an active citizen. I serve at Karibangi Social Justice Center. Glad to be part of this conversation as we even look forward to the conversation. In regard to the question, what tomorrow look like for me, I think one, tomorrow is a holiday. Tomorrow is a big day. It's a point in time that we will be able to raise up the flag, lit up the candles, pray in memory of innocent Kenyans who were killed on the street. as we also add our voices to be able to demand justice. It is time for the moment for the justice. Across the day, yes, since yesterday, government have been trying to have smeared campaigns that are geared towards to instill fear in people. And that actually is an indication that we are dealing with a government that, again, is not ready to be able to listen to the plight and what we are advocating for. Ours is that we just want to be able to live a dignified life. I don't want to live in fear. It is not a crime to go to the street. It is something that is protected within the Constitution, Article 37. So as long as whatever we are going to do is within the presence of the Constitution, I don't fear anything. I feel tomorrow is a big day, and we look forward for that day. And I want to urge all Kenyans that we need to be able to come out in unison, in one voice, and speak with one voice. Sometimes what it takes is the courage, is that determination. It is what is bigger than that fear. Not that we don't fear, but somebody's life is at stake. How many people are we going to be able to lose? How many people are going to be killed until we can be able to say enough is enough? Why is it a crime to be able to criticize the government of the day? Why is it a crime to ask questions? Why is it a crime to demand justice? So definitely, for me, tomorrow is a day of courage. It's an holiday. Hiyo ndio day, siku kubwa sana. Wana kuorganize shenanigans zao na nini, memories na nini, but tomorrow is the day to remember the heroes, the shujas, the unsung heroes, people who are able to put their life in front for us for a better governance system in the country. So we must be able to remember them and demand accountability and demand an end to police killing in this country. Because even as we continue with the agitation and in terms of demanding justice for Albert, for Boniface, there is a new discovery of bodies that were discovered again at Rivayala. Nobody again is speaking about them. Mary has spoke about the Finance Bill 2025, which again was passed chini ya maji. But we are going to again tutairudia bado, because this is our country. The sovereign power belongs to the people, and there is nothing we are doing contrary to the Constitution. We are here to defend the Constitution as envisioned in Article 3 of the Constitution. We're just protecting and defending the Constitution and some of the gains that our forefathers fought for. So we look forward for tomorrow. Tomorrow ni holiday. Kama uwezi kuja kwa street, join in solidarity. Hapo kwa nyumba yako, beba bendera, lit a candle in memory of akina Rex Masai, Albert, and all the Kenyans that have lost their lives through this blood-based regime. We are not fear to say that it's a blood-based regime, because each and every day Mama Mboga, kitu Mama Mboga saizi wanafanya, each and every week they're burying their sons. Kitu watu wa bodaboda saizi wanafanya ni either vijana wetu wanapewa rungu 2000 kuweza kuwataka mtu akona firimbi, akona nini, simu na maji and all that. Until when? You see, and these are people who are acting on a borrowed power. They're acting on our behalf, so the power belongs to us. And if they're not doing what we the people want, then we the people have to take back our power. So I look up for a very memorable day. Kesho ni holiday kubwa sana, sherehe kubwa sana, holiday. Tafadhali kama huwezi kaa tu nyumbani, tulia. But we're also praying to everything that we do in peace. As much as government is planning their things, we must be very cautious, but we must not be cowards. If we lose our fear, they lose our power, their power. And the greatest prison you can be is fear. So we must be able to overcome our fear. Thank you. Back to you.
Asante sana for that. Ruth, if you may allow me, I want to bring in the issue of, because we already highlighted what the fear that is there, and how to overcome it, or how to, mobilize each other so we can be in solidarity in this situation. But let's go deeper into the issue of safety, because that is the most important thing that we should all be looking out for right now. How can we protect ourselves, digitally, online, and even physically tomorrow and moving forward, as we go to the streets, as we do our activism and advocacy? How do we ensure we can protect ourselves and give each other a safe space, for speaking up, or when you're organizing, even in your grassroots communities? What does safety look like in public and private spaces? how do we also support each other, you know, as sister to sister, shangazi to shangazi, brother to brother, during this protest tomorrow, online and in the community? Because it's really important for us to highlight, as much as we're advocating for something for a greater good, we also need to be kept safe in our spaces. How do we go about that? Probably if I throw the question to Sharon first, and then we'll hear from Christine as well, and then Mary, and then we can open the floor to our listeners. Let's just engage in this, keeping each other safe. How do we go about this?
Thank you very much, Joy. And maybe before I answer your question, or I might just answer it as in the middle of maybe what I'd love to say, and to just add some flesh to what Comrade Habib and Miss Gishuki have talked about how the feeling is for tomorrow, and if we are even showing up at all. We do not have any reason to not to show up. And personally, for me, I am going to tell my children that Kenya gained its independence in 25th June of 2025, because I feel like that is how it's going to be. Like, we are going to break from this bondage of injustice, and because justice doesn't come by chance, you know, inakuja from sorry, it comes when people like us, very ordinary people like you and me, all of us who are here, when we decide to act. And that is exactly what we will be doing tomorrow. So kesho, we take to the streets in a very peaceful protest. That is how first we protect ourselves, because we are very peaceful. Hizi zingine zenye zinakujanga za sijui vita, sijui guns, sijui nini, it starts from people who are against what we are going to be protesting to tomorrow. And the number one on the list is the government itself. Hao ndio wanakujanga kwa streets with ammunition. They come to the streets with guns na marungu na nini. Si tunakujanga kwa streets na placards and phones and water most of the time. Some of us, hata wengine hata wakujangi na maji, tunapatiliangwa maji on the streets. So tomorrow we take to the streets very peacefully, not out of anger alone. Hatukuji na hasira peke yake, but we are coming with the love for this country and ile deep belief that we deserve better. We will march in dignity. We will be very united, and we will also call truth to power, and we will do that with one voice. I think that is one thing that will bring in protection, that hakuna mtu anasema ile, mwingine anasema ile. We know what we want. It is very unified. We are not here to beg. We are here to remind these people in power that e constitution si karatasi, you know, and that human rights are not up for debate. That dignity and justice, ni what is this name? Ni foundation of a free society. In civic duty, say, and this is how to protect our democracy. This is how we will build a future where our daughters can walk safely, you know, where our boys aren't hunted by the police, and where kila Mkenya anaweza ka live na dignity. So me, I urge all of us to show up, to speak up, to stand firm, because if we don't defend our rights, there's no one else who's going to do it for us. And then again, tukiwa kwa streets, let's be accountable of each other. We see each other on the streets, so you know who came up, make sure you know who is where. Let's be in touch every other time. Because ukiwa secluded, if you stand kaa pahali uko tu peke yako, you're not with other people, it is very easy for you to be a target. But when we are together with one objective, kenye imetupeleka pale, si hizi vitu tunakujanga kuambiwa ati sijui looting or sijui watu piga wengine, watu waliiba. No, that is not what is taking us to the streets. We are going with we are going to the protest not just to protest, but in purpose. Hii purpose sisi wote tunaijua. So there is so much we can do, Joy, to protect ourselves. but then again serikali inakuanga na mkono mrefu sana. There's even with our gadgets, there's so much we can do to protect ourselves, but again, if the government wants to reach to you, they will. It is them having the intention of listening to the people. What are they saying? What do they want? It is as simple as that. Imagine we can protest. We've protested before, like Ruth has said. Tumefika mpaka parliament, tukapeana petitions zetu. They listen, wanachukua petition, they don't do anything about it, but we still go on peacefully. So what is different with this other protest we want to do tomorrow? Zenye tunasikia watu wamewekwa uoga, like they've instilled fear in people. You watch what this whoever the members of parliament and who are talking about kutishia watu wametuweka uoga, but if they say and wacheni protest basi ifanyike, wakuja wasikize what people are saying, they will be surprised. It is going to be one of the most peaceful protests that has ever happened or ever been seen, even in the whole wide world. And we are not going to call it out, to call it, no, what is hata English imepotea. Hatuta sema ati tutaenda maandamano, we are going. Haitakatishwa, what is the word yenye inasemangwa that sijui imekuwa whatever or postponed or anything. It is tomorrow, we will go, we will come, all of us will be there. Back to you, Joy.
Thank you so much. Ruth, I'll let you take over with this one. As we still hear, I also want to hear from Christine and Mary about safety. As we have said, most important thing is safety. How do we protect ourselves, especially women in this activism space? Because, you know, women are often looked as one of the marginalized groups or communities. How do we protect ourselves online, physically, even when you're organizing and speaking up, even when you're preparing for tomorrow? Yes, go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much. Firstly, there's security. To start with the online or digital security of ourselves. Kindly, all of us from now, like this minute, go and install a VPN. Go and install a VPN. Make sure that you're connected always from now on moving forward, at least. And make sure that if using application, uh, I mean applications that you're not using, log out so that in want to reach your your you step in those
Sorry,
uh,
Christine,
Can't hear you.
breaking up. Yeah, you appear to be breaking up. Hatukusikii vizuri. I think we're also getting a bit of feedback in the background. So probably if
let
you
me
could just, just repeat about the importance of a VPN, just the way you were
Can you?
advising.
Hello. Hello, we can hear you from afar. Yes, from afar.
Okay, thank you. So I was saying that we
Songea
should
mic,
first
off
start
mic.
installing. Niko kwa mic kabisa.
Aya, sawa sawa.
So kitu ilikuwa nasema is that first let's install a VPN from now. Everyone that you know that you're having a conversation to do with the tomorrow, or you have been having this conversation, make sure you have a VPN on your phone, and make sure that you go and log out on all the places that you've logged in and you're not using, the applications that we have logged in and we are not using, so that if these people, let's not make it easy for them to get us, to catch us for tomorrow. And then another thing on the physical security from now, kindly, because in Mombasa we have seen that there are some people that have been getting tailed. People have been getting tailed wanashukia watu wanawafuata for a long place, kutoka mbali, kutoka huku kuenda kule, wamefuatwa with the same people, only to realize that wanakuwa tailed and then being asked questions, munaenda wapi, mbona mnapiga simu fulani, mbona mnashika nini. So this thing is out here na the situation is already tensed kwa wale wenye ni oppressors. Make sure that you can you know your movements. If it's not a must for you to get out right now, do not get out. And easy to receive calls zenye ni unknown calls and then you're starting to sharing things, don't. Again, on physical security, I would say during the D-Day now on the holiday, kindly make sure you have at least kabisa 2 people when you know that these people are there for you and you are there for them. Musipoteleane. You can only trust watu wenye umetoka na wao. Make sure that you're protecting them and they are protecting you. Because right now the situation is so tensed. As you can see, there've been a lot of wanakwambia we have received intelligence that kutakuwa na gun. Yet there is nothing that they're doing. These are our security apparatus. There is nothing that they're doing to curb or at least to arrest hao wenye ni guns wenye wamepata information that they will be at the street with us. So we have to be our own security during the D-Day and even after, because it's not only during the D-Day, but even after, we need to be so vigilant that over our own security. We are the change that we want. We are the change that we have been getting preached for. At your change is coming tomorrow. Change is coming tomorrow enyewe on 25th June. And we are the change themselves. We are the change. We should stand. There is no time for fear. There is no time to buy fear because we are all broke. We don't have money. We need ourselves to ensure that our country is safe and is good and is developing with good leaders. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Christy.
Can you do next?
Yes, just let me make a comment and then you'll go next. Yeah, so there's a lot of conversation that is going on about tomorrow's protest or demonstration, and people who know that so and so, like watu wanajua Ruth kesho anaenda maandamano, people are getting calls or messages and saying kesho naenda maandamano kweli, ni kubaya usiende, ni kubaya usiende, ni kubaya. Unaona, so we getting calls from friends, from parents, and ni vile tu saa zingine tunasemanga ukishaingia hii activist na saa hii siku hizi vita ya kukomboa hii Kenya, a better tomorrow, it is not for activists, it is not for human rights defenders, it is for all concerned citizens. It is for all citizens. So I've said enough of police killings, enough of poor leadership, bad governance, that we want a better tomorrow, we want a better Kenya. And kuna mtu alikuwa ananiambia tu leo, mbona tu Ruto asiopen State House for Gen Z, hata atupe lunch, hiyo lunch yenye tumesema tunaenda kula kesho kwa State House, apike tu chakula pack na tupe tu lunch, akaribishe kila mtu na watu waseme demand zao, and actually people to just talk, asikie, kwa sababu ni kama hatusikii. So pengine tukishow up in good numbers State House atatusikia. And people are just looking forward for tomorrow. Everybody is anxious what will happen tomorrow. And that's on the protection and safety. We've also seen a lot of social media, social media influencers also educating people on how to be safe and protected in the streets. We've seen Pulse doing the same. We've seen Law Society of Kenya doing the same. We've seen Kenya National Commission of Human Rights doing the same. We've seen Power 254 the same. So we can also circulate these templates to our friends, neighbors, or comrades who are going for protest tomorrow. And another important thing as you're looking forward for tomorrow, usiende maandamano kama mtu hajui umeenda maandamano. Tell somebody, tell your friend, tell your neighbor, tell a fellow comrade that unaenda street. Just in case of anything, wanajua Ruth alikuwa ameenda street. Yeah, karibu sana Miss Mary. Napenda kuongea sana, pole.
It's okay. Thank you so much for the opportunity and also for the speakers who have spoken about me. For me, it's just adding. In a case where extremes happen, and I want to retaliate on what Comrade Mwenesi said about a VPN. Another thing we can do is have comrade's number written down, because you see inaweza fika to a point simu yako imezima, imeibiwa, but having physically written the number will help. And then have buddy system. Ukienda maandamano, make sure kuna mtu anajua nyumbani uko wapi na kuna mtu mwenye mko naye kwa maandamano, so that in case of anything we are there. Another thing, we are our sisters and brothers keeper. If you see someone being abducted, being taken by the police, all the goons wakiwa attacking them, kindly let's join in and help, because it won't help if comrades will be hurt and we're in the streets for our comrades. Yeah, thank you. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Gichuki, and all the speakers that have spoken. Now I'll just open the floor to our listeners. Letu nilianza nikisema, most of us, or rather majority of us, or even all of us, are looking forward for tomorrow. How you're going to give your solidarity depends. Ule mtu mwenye anaona kesho hawezi kimbia vizuri ama anaogopa sana, you can give us solidarity virtually. But all of us are looking for tomorrow. All of us have a duty, a national duty. We are not fighting for our interest, but a national interest. So I'll open the floor to our listeners. Whoever have anything to say, how are you feeling about tomorrow? Are you ready for tomorrow? Are you afraid? Are you showing up? And how are you showing up? Do you feel safe? Do you feel protected? How are you
I'm
seeing
seeing,
tomorrow?
sorry, Ruth, I'm seeing, Habib, I see you also
Come.
want to speak. Probably, if just 1 minute kidogo tu, I wanted to give the chance to, thing is called Peter. Ama ni kama huyo ashapotea. Steven Mtetezi. Wacha nikupe mic briefly. You tell us, because this space is actually, it's more of, yes, it's about women empowerment and staying in solidarity, especially among the youth. But the most important question we are trying to address here is what courage looks like for the youth, particularly right now, and what's happening in Kenya. Stephen, karibu.
Thank you. How are you, everyone? My name is Stefano. I'm an activist and also civic educator. In terms of in terms of the security, what we need to do, we need to be more extra vigilant in terms of our security, because our securities matters a lot during the protests. And also maybe we can have a partner who's able to respond team, at least 2 or 3 people. You can select one person who's able to track and trace each and every movement on your either the grouping that you are. Two, as the Ruth has said, we need also to come up with need to get up all the communication channel, as I've seen the outline of different organizations like the Kenya Human Rights Commission, the Law Society of Kenya, and also Defenders Coalition as the main in the front line. We need also to get their contact in case of any arrest. And then finally, as you move around, also try as much as possible to document whatever you do. responsively by not maybe interfering other people, so that at least you have a backup in terms of maybe follow up in case there's an arrest. Try as much as possible. You do a documentation that may able to help so that can able to track the maybe the police who are doing also there, and then also try as much as possible to be more vigilant of the people we are talking to, because there are some people who are intruder who will able to join during the march, and also maybe I know there will be a lot of NIS on the ground who are some are youth, so try as much as possible to mind the people that you are talking to so that you may not able to get yourself into a problem. And then finally, we need teamwork also as much as possible. We need to have a great coordination in terms of so that we don't have different communication coming from different areas. At least one command person or a command team that will able to guide so that we don't have this kind of up and down, because I know there are so many intruders who will able to join the march or the demo. So be your brother's keeper. Don't let anyone behind, so that at least we walk a journey together. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Stefano, for your insight. Habib, before you also speak, probably I'd like to throw a question to our audience listening, especially the females who are here present, because uh, most of the time you've seen protests are usually zinahusishwa na wanaume sana, but how can we encourage more women to have this courage, especially in our gender organizations? How can we provide a safe space for women to come out and join the cause without feeling intimidated, without having fear? Probably, I don't know if it's Christine or any of our speakers, Sharon or even Mary, you can advise us. How do we provide a platform for more women to come out and speak up, instead of just leaving these issues to, men are the ones who are perceived to be the strong agenda, the ones who are often looked to come and raise their voices on behalf of us. Mary, I'm seeing you want to answer that, and then after you speak, we can now hear from you, Habib. Karibu, Mary.
Thank you so much. I believe one of the ways that we can have women and the young ladies at the forefront is, one, having very strong mentors. And for me, myself, as much as I'm young, I'm below 30 years, I'm ensuring that whatever my actions are will inspire other young women to be courageous, to speak without fear. But I can ideally bring it back to how we are raised. Our foundation is very much important. For me, I might not have had holistic best development, but I had a mom who always made me feel like the world is mine to conquer, and everyone else is there to provide a stage for me. So also very early courage from a very young age is going to really help in how young girls and women view themselves. Two, it's about allowing women to be women. Example, I know we are told like women are very emotional. True, we are emotional beings. Even for me, as much as I'm courageous, the people who look up to me, the first thing something happens, I have first to cry, and it's okay to cry, but still I'll have it handled. But it doesn't mean that women are emotional should be taken as a bad thing. We are emotional beings, and we should even embrace it to bring it out. Another thing, it can be leadership or empowerment sessions. Myself have attended several, one by ELF, another one as recent as last week about empowering women in political spaces. So it's about providing spaces where women can get information, so that when they get out there, they are courageous, and also providing information or opportunities so that women are able to integrate with even difficult conversation. Example, 2 years ago, I was very much afraid about speaking about finance bill because I didn't understand it. But through numerous sessions and also platform that I've gotten, I can courageously stand somewhere because I have information about it. So yeah, it's about empowering women and giving them that opportunity to do that. Back to you.
Thank you so much. Habib, you had something to say?
Yes, I think first of all we need to be able to appreciate. I'm proud of women that we fight hand to hand just to be able to continue advancing the aspect of human rights and even the social justice. And even when we talk about the struggle, most of the time we forget about the role the women played in the liberation of this country. So sometimes we don't speak about them. The likes of Wangare Maathai, Muthoni Nyanjiru, Mekatilili Wamenza, and I'm proud because even within the movement perspective, I've seen women every time we're on the street. It is women who are always on the front line. But we're dealing actually with a very, very brutal government. Nonetheless, you see, it begs the question: is it a crime to exercise our democratic right as enshrined in Article 37 of the Constitution? The answer is no. So why is the government afraid? The government on the other end is talking about respecting the rule of law. What does Article 26 of the Constitution speaks about? Does it give the police the opportunity to continue killing, maiming innocent people? Today we are being warned and they are selling fear to us that we should not go to the street. But Kenya ni home because Ojwang pia alikuwa tu kwao, akatolewa in the front of the wife, the kid, the mother, the father, only later to be killed, die in the hands of the people who are supposed to be able to protect and ensure his safety. So as things stand in this country, nobody is safe, neither you nor me. No one is safe. So we cannot again continue to buy out fear. What we are doing, we are not doing any criminal activity. We have been called anarchist, that it is a treason to go to State House, for example. State House is a public institution. And that is why even within this budget estimate, the same government, year in, year out, continue to allocate funds for renovation of State House. Today, if you look at that budget, they have allocated 3.7 billion for renovation of State House. That is not a private institution, that is a public institution. And what does Article 37 tell us? That we have a responsibility, peacefully and armed, picket and present a petition to any public institution or authority. Where does that put State House at? Kwa sababu we have talked, you see now the problem is when people were on the street last year, June, watu wakiuliwa, the demands were very clear. We want an accountable government. We want good governance. Stop police brutality. Stop killing us. Kidogo kidogo tukadanganywa ati kumekuwa na reshufflement ya cabinet secretary. Tell me everyone ambaye alikuwa sacked, nani hajarudi kazi ama hajajipata yeye ni minister mahali, yeye ni ako kwa nini kwa parastatal. The same thing, the government is not ready and willing to be able to listen. Because at the end of the day, these people are acting on a borrowed power. The sovereign power belongs to the people. And when you read at Article 1, which stipulates very well that all sovereignty power belongs to the people, and the people can exercise this right directly or indirectly through the elected leaders. And here our elected leaders, the members of parliament, MCAs, but right now these people are dancing to the tune of the executive. Where does that leave us as a citizen? Because you feel again, your voice is not represented at the National Assembly. Because if someone, kama majority leader, anaweza come out with audacity, telling us that wamepitisha finance bill, whether we like it or not, what are we saying? For example, as a resident of Embakasi North, did my member of parliament consulted with me to understand what again is my take around the finance bill? There is high cost of living. We work within the community and people are struggling. They cannot be able to take their children to school. Right now we are seeing they're going to be able to scrap, already washa scrap ile nini kidogo ilikuwa imewekwa ya exam, the aspect of feeding program, and then you want to allocate 3.7 billion to renovate State House. Does it beat even logic? So these are the things that we are demanding. We are not in war with anyone, Ours is a struggle. As a generation, we have identified ourselves with our own mission and the struggle. So it is upon us. It is either you want to fulfill it or betray the struggle. Because even the freedom that today we are enjoying, that freedom, it took someone's blood, the courage. People went to the street. It is not our wish for someone to die on the street. And I wish a serious government could be protecting its people. Because one, the role of police in any peaceful demonstration is to ensure that they maintain law and order and accompany the peaceful protestant mali wanaenda. It is not about shooting and killing them. Take a look. History have proven it right. When last year when the demos were starting, they were very, very peaceful until police came into place, until politicians infiltrated them with the goons. So in reality, we are being denied an opportunity again to be able to exercise our democratic right. And when the constitution is being mutilated, or the constitution is being abused, then we have a responsibility again, because it is the same constitution that gives us that obligation to be able to respect, protect, and defend the constitution. So all these things that we are talking about, from access to water, imagine a city like Nairobi. Kariobangi mimi napata maji mara mbili kwa siku. What does that leave us to? Shule hazina maji, mtoto anapata monthly period zake. What hiyo inamwacha wapi? So whatever we are advocating for, you see, when we go to the street, people think that it is fancy to go to the street. Some of us are being told vile tunataka pesa ya wazungu. And you kind of wonder ni mzungu mgani amekaa tu mahali anangoja biba ende kwa street ndiye ampatie pesa. No, we are victims of the failed system. Imagine mama, unajua saizi, and I want to tell Kenyans, it is now that you guys are seeing the aspect of enforced disappearance, extrajudicial execution. These are the things that some of us started addressing as far as 2016 huko. These are things that happen. Unapata kijana ametolewa kwao mbele ya mama yake, kesho mwili imepatikana Karura city mortuary, and it has been a trend and it was normalized. We have saw a situation where the police could be able to kill and then they paraded the body of the people that have killed on social media. So in reality, I always tell people that police brutality knows no boundary. And right now, whether you go to the street, whether you remain home, whether you keep quiet, everybody, you can be a victim of this regime. Because in one way or another, you'll go to hospital, there is no doctors. You can be able to die. You're pregnant, you want to take your wife to hospital, hakuna ambulance, pesa ambulance imekulwa. So that is the reality. And guys, in bodies were discovered in Mukuru. Up to date, there is no accountability. The key suspect disappeared mysteriously in a police station. Up to date, hajaipatikana. Over 60 young Kenyans were killed. We have never seen any justice. Hata kama mtu tu mmoja ameshikwa akapelekwa through the justice process tukaona akafungwa. Nobody, there is no any single accountability. Why does it take people want to demand?
Sorry, Habib. Peter, kindly mute your mic. Yeah, go on, Habib.
Why is it right now, all this year, does it take government 1 year to be wanting now to meet the families of the victim now that these people are coming out to remember their children and to continue demanding justice? So definitely, however, how much government has to be deliberate. Yes, we are talking about dialogue, which is very, very vital and very important. That as a country, we do not have any other country. Kenya is home. Kenya ni home. And that is why we are defending our motherland. That is why I don't want to see a country where the next, in 10 years to come, bado, mtoi wangu anaongelelea the same things, ako kwa street ye pia ati anauliwa and all that. For how long are we going to be able to live in fear? Because right now, my mother, and I want to tell you for a fact, mama yangu yuko hata in peace, hata lala. And you know what? Hata lala si ati nimefanya makosa, anajua kijana wake atakuwa kwa street. And that is the most painful thing. And anajua akiwa kwa street, anything can be able to happen. Today in the entire community have been a target because people know how ndio wanafanyaga maandamano. Yet you ask yourself, there is nothing I'm doing contrary to the constitution. Sivunji sheria yoyote. I'm just exercising my democratic right. I'm just demanding my right. It is not a crime. So as Kenyans, let us just come out in solidarity and demand justice. We want an end. It is not just an end to these killings. We want a country where when you go to the street to exercise your democratic right as outlined in Article 37, you're provided by security by the police. You go, unafanya maandamano, you present the petition, after 2 weeks unaitwa, this is what action we have taken about the issues that you are able to raise. We want to see a situation where leaders are engaging, because hata hao ma MPs, mimi sijui any of the last time niliona MP wangu, namuonanga tu kwa ma TV huko, mara Inora ako wapi and all that. Right now anataka kukuwa governor. But young people are unemployed. Young people wako na mental health. Saizi mtaani mali na tunatoka Bangu, already in the last 1 month vijana watatu wameuana kwa vijana kwenyewe. So what does that tell you? Nothing the member of parliament is even saying. There is nothing the government is saying. There is no intentional commitment from the government of the day to be able to address and find a lasting solution. What young people want is to be listened to. Na unajua kwa hizi Kenya, hizi vitu tuna face, not that we haven't faced them before, but we have reached to a point where there is no hope. The government is not giving us hope. Unajua, at least kama ungekuwa unasema yes things are nini, wacha tukupatie time, but how long? There is nothing. Kama 1 year down the line, hata government has not been able to sit down with the families. And now when you go to the street, tunaambiwa sijui no, sijui nyini wa Munyoro and all that. No, for us it is a clear agenda. The struggle for a better country for all. We want to live a dignified life. We want to see an end to police brutality. The extrajudicial killing, the enforced disappearance must stop. The continuous corruption has to stop. And we want an open government that is ready and willing to be able to engage with the people, because at the end of the day, the sovereign power belongs to the people. So if it is about the rule of law, let the president and the leaders respect that rule of law. So I'll end it at there and allow others to be able to add into the conversation. But when we lose our fear, they lose their power, and there's nothing to lose but to break the chains that we have been bonded for so many years. So let us not buy into this fear, because again we are too broke to buy fear.
Thank you so much, Habib, for you captured it so well and you've broken it down so powerfully. We actually need more of this clarity and in intention of what this cause means. And thank you so much for sharing your very powerful perspective. Peter, I'm seeing you also wanted to add something. We'd love to hear what's on your mind.
Greetings, everyone. I hope you can hear me.
Yes, go ahead. We can hear you. Though it's a bit
Yeah,
noisy.
I'll be very brief, or somewhat. I'll stick to some few elements. I'm talking as a father of 13 daughters, and mine is to put blame on the girls, the women. To give out some few insights on how things can change. I'll stick to the maandamano tomorrow. I've been in maandamanos. I know how maandamanos vile zinaenda na kila kitu. But I've seen where we have a problem. You know, most of these countries that maandamano yao yamekuwa successful, if you look keenly, it has been courtesy of the women. Why do I say so? Ukiangalia, most of our women, and the government knows that a good number who go to the streets and all that, they are going there for photos. Then nitapiga picha, nilikuwa maandamano, nikitaweka kwa TikTok, nitaweka kwa Instagram and all that. But if you have a few women when you are tough, sorry, I'll mention this lady anaitwa nani Wafula or sijui nani, these we anataka kupiga askari yao. If our women, our daughters will leave and go to the streets with, hey, I'm going to change my country. Even askari akimuona najua huyu hajakuja kupiga picha hapa. They say that, they know most of these ones wamekuja tu hapa wapige picha yake kwa Instagram na nini yaonekana kwa maandamano, but if they know these people are here for business. Angalia maandamano imefanyika in all other countries. Women are on the forefront. I would tell our girls, tokeni huko, kujeni mchukuane. Mambo ya kutembea huko kando mkipiga mapicha achana nayo. Chukuaneni pamoja, wasichana wakuwe forefront. Na I can tell you for a fact, our askari tunawaenda wazimu wengi sana, hawa jamaa wengi sana ni waenda wazimu. But I will tell you, 80 and 90% of them, they won't dare touch a woman hivi ati anampigia haswa. Yani wanawake wamefunga kile kibarricade pale mbele, wanawake pekee wanakuja na we are going this way, we are doing this way, we are not touching anyone's shop, we are not hitting you the askari, tunatembea Uhuru Highway tukienda. If they are on the forefront, 80 and 90% of these askaris won't touch these women. But most of our girls are there, apige picha, afanye nini. So those are some of the things we need to change. Tunapigana huku vita. I'm sorry, I'm a politician, but I support hiyo mambo ya maandamano kabisa. But wasichana wetu ndio wanatoka saa zile tunaenda wiki moja, siku 3 tumebakisha tufanye maandamano. Our girls are the very ones wenye wanatoka huko kwenda kupiga mapicha na wanasiasa wakitupostia vile wanakaa kwa mandege. Hizo tabia za maskini za kijinga tutoe. Kwa sababu they are changing the narrative. Actually, ukiangalia all the narratives that are being changed some days to maandamano nini, it's the women, our girls. Watu wametoka kwa familia zingine maskini za sumbuka tu, hata si watu wenye wana pesa za kufanya chochote. Unaenda unapiga picha na mwanasiasa, unatuwekea hapo na nini. The entire narrative changes. Whom are they using? Women. So dada zetu wale wenye wanajua wameweza kujitolea. Naona hapa kuna msichana mmoja huwa anamfuata sana, anakuwa msichana bomba, hata akili yake anakuwa smart sana. Huyu anaitwa nani? Amepotea, nitampata nimwambie. So our girls, our women, msione kama wanaingilia, maana I started by saying I'm a father of 13 daughters, yeah. Some of my daughters are fighting huko nje kama sijui wapi, maandamano wanafanya and all that. We are the heart, you are the heart of any change, that's any reasonable change that can come to this country. Wakiona mmetoka kama ule Shakira, mnatembea na mmeshikana na mnini na nini. Even the other day, hii maandamano ya juzi niliona, our women gave themselves out to the goons. But mkishikana pamoja and utembea na wanaume wamewazunguka, those guys can do nothing. Those guys are the easiest link. Hao ndio waoga wa mwisho. They can't do nothing. But wakiona mmekaa bomba mnakuja, they cannot. But ukiangalia wale wasichana walikuwa wanaibiwa simu na nini, yule ameenda kujichukua pale kando ya nini. Let's come pamoja, tukue na mwelekeo mmoja na tuende ile sura ya kusmile, makeup wachana nayo. Akikuja kuangalia unakaa Geoffrey fulani tu, twende tufanye shughuli yetu. That one will help our country. But ukienda huko mambo yetu ingine tunaenda kidogo, tutakaa ni watu hawako serious. Ladies, women, my daughters, my sisters, my girlfriends and all that who are here, tell your friends, tell wengine. Imagine kukomboa nchi yoyote, hata kina Sudan huko zilianzishwa na mwanamke. Yeah, so we should act on that. Let's concentrate, know what is taking us there tomorrow. Watu wafanya maandamano na tusikue the point of distraction when we have such a noble nani. Albert alichukuliwa nyumbani. So ukija niambia ati wewe unaenda maandamano utauawa watu, hata utakanyaga ndizi huko kwenu huko reserve tu ukafukufa tu. Yeah, so si maandamano, and anything comes with a change. If you feel like you don't want to come there and kufanya mambo ile ya kwenda mbele ya kutusaidia, keti nyumbani tu. Na wale wachache na nini wenye wako kwa celebrities na nini, it's simple. Those guys are there courtesy of us. Sisi kuwafuata, sisi comment, sisi kuwafollow. Those are the things that make them live. Actually, most of them do nothing. Ni hiyo type maneno na nini, anapata hiyo platform alipo 70,000, 20,000 na nani kujiweka town. Wengine kwenda kupiga picha na wanasiasa wakitumia shilingi 2,000, 5,000. They have the powers to influence our people. Just follow those people. Kesho kutu watakuwa na event, don't attend those events because wajue kitu ni serious. You know, it's very painful. Mimi nikiongea nitashukuru Mungu maana nina uwezo, maana watoto wangu wale wakusoma wanasoma, wale wanani wanafanya. But it's painful, mzazi mwanaume mwenzangu anakuja ananiambia bwana, hata mtoto wangu yani hana hata namna. Ukiangalia hana namna ama nini, if you follow down mtu anafanya bidii na kila kitu, but the government of the day has systems set to fail. So that mtu anasumbukana, watoto 2 3 wanasumbukana hapo, watoto wanafanya uzuni sana. Si ati mtu ni mjinga, amesoma anatia bidii, but the systems are meant for people to fail. Alafu wasichana wenyewe ndio badala kuja kupigana wanakuja kuharibu maneno. So let's deplatform these people. Let's strictly fuatana na wale watu wanaweza kutusaidia na kutuelekeza vizuri and all that. So nisiongee sana maana nitamaliza siku mzima. Asante. But we girls do better.
Peter, I'm actually grateful thank you for expressing that so honestly. You know, it's not always easy to speak up, especially from your perspective. And I appreciate the honesty in you coming out to uplift the women from that perspective, in that maya maandamano sio ya ile ya kuenda kupost na kuonekana you know, you've been there, but you don't even really know the cause of what you're fighting for. Peter, asante sana. I'm grateful you've trusted this space enough to be able to air your perspective and also encourage especially the women on how kuja kusimama na kupigana na wengine. I'd still like to open the floor to our listeners before we go back to our speakers. Naona kuna Amo alikuwa amerequest kuzungumza. Amo, sijui kama umeingia. Okay. Amo Muchui, kama unaweza kuongea, the floor is yours. Karibu. Amo, unanipata? Can you hear me? Naona kuna pia, I'm seeing there's also Yasin. Nikupa mic, please be ready to speak briefly, to speak confidently, because right now we are at the eve of something great that's happening to our nation. So people here need the encouragement, people here need the words of wisdom, people here need the knowledge of what is happening around us. So Amo, kama uko unanipata, please go ahead and speak up. Kama uko tayari, I'm seeing Yasin. Yasin, if you're also ready, please go ahead and give your insights on this. Nimemshukuru sana Habib, nimemshukuru sana Peter, especially speaking once again on the aspect of uplifting women and letting women stand in solidarity with the rest of the nation, the youth, the men, everybody is ready to come out. So Yasin or Hamo, if you're ready, kindly briefly give us your insights. Okay, na kama hawako tayari, Ruth, I'll hand it back to you to continue with the discussion. Ruth, upo, are you there? Okay. Yeah, it seems Ruth has also dropped. Ama ni mimi sisikiki. Kindly, if you can
I can hear you. I can hear you.
Good. Ruth, can you hear me? We can continue. We can continue with the conversation. So we wanted to also highlight the importance of how well is everybody prepared. You know, we are here talking about twende kesho, let's show up in numbers, you know, mobilize each other, work in groups, and all the safety precautions. But it's also important to highlight how are we preparing ourselves to show up tomorrow? How are we actually planning to participate? If you're going to mobilize each other online, if you're going to be here driving certain hashtags, if you're going to be there on ground, how are we planning as you know, as we speak here, as the youth, as the women society leaders, as the women human rights defenders, how are we planning to actually make a difference in tomorrow's protest? As Peter has mentioned, it's not just about speaking, lakini kiko kwa ground hakuna action. So how are we actually planning to advocate even for the people who are in different counties? Probably nikianza na Mombasa, Christine, you can give us an insight on this, and then we hear from Sharon and Mary as well.
Pardon the question. Yes.
Sorry,
Pardon.
let me bring that up again. I'm asking, you know, we've had that tomorrow we're encouraging each other, show up in numbers, we are mobilizing each other, you know, to tutoke, to andamane, you know, fight for justice for our brothers, our fallen brothers and sisters, celebrate this anniversary. But how are we actually planning? How are we preparing ourselves to participate. If we're going online, if we are going qua ground, how are we actually planning to do that? Because as Peter has pointed out, it's not just a matter of hear and say and not actually implementing whatever we are discussing here. So what are we actually, how are we preparing ourselves so that we can also encourage others who are listening in to know where they should start from, or what they can actually do that will be seen out there?
Thank you so much.
Okay, you can start.
Yeah, so I was saying that on the encouragement and the mobilization, we have to encourage ourselves. Kuna mtu mwenye anataka kuapia and be counted and make his or her voice count, but anaogopa or hayuko sure. Kitu ya kwanza, in all counties, sisi wote tumeweza kuona that there is a notification that ilikuwa served to the security apparatus and they received and agreed kulingana na venye sheria inasema na katiba inasema, wamereceive na kuagree kwamba watakuja kuprovide security hawa maafisa wa polisi. Kitu ya kwanza. Kitu cha pili, kama wananchi wazalendo watukufu waandamanaji.
Christine, sorry to interrupt you. Sijui kama unaweza punguza, there's a lot of background noise. We're not able to get you very clearly. Sijui kama unaweza punguza kelele kidogo and then you can proceed.
Sasa unasikia?
Yes.
Okay, nimesema kwamba kitu ya kwanza tumeweza kufuata protocol kama vijana, kama wananchi, kwamba tumeweza kutoa notification jinsi inavyohitajika, imeweza kukuwa received na maafisa wa usalama, na katika hali ya kuwa receive the notification yetu, wanaahidi kwamba watakuwepo ili kuweza provide security. Na kitu kingine ni kwamba sisi wenyewe kama waandamanaji wazalendo, wananchi wa Kenya, tunapotoka tutoke tukiwa kwanza jamani, let's pray. Manake watu wanasema huku nje ni now the fight for tomorrow's fight is spiritual. Let's pray and tukue tuko na macho makubwa na masikio makubwa, so that you can see whatever that is wrong and call it out, and hear whatever that is wrong, ili uweze kujisave wewe na kusave mwenzako ambaye yuko katika danger. Na itakuwa rahisi kama sisi wananchi wenyewe tukipractice citizen arrest kwa wale ambao watakuwa ni goon ama wale ambao watakuwa wameweza kuja kuweza kuharibu tukiwa tuna practice haki yetu ya article 37. Let's practice citizen arrest. Wacha hao maaskari ambao wanasema hawawajui wawakatai kuwachukua hao wenye tumeweza kuwa arrest, and then sasa ndio watuambie kama si watu wenye wanawajua mbona wanawakataa hawakuwa arrest. Na kitu kingine, sisi kama waandamanaji wazalendo watukufu wa Kenya, wananchi, tuweze kufika sehemu ambazo tumeweza kusema ni meter point kwa wakati. Tuzingatie wakati ili isiwe tumeagree ni saa 2, mwingine ama tumeagree ni saa 4 and then we unakuja saa 5, maybe wenye wanataka kutuzuia tusiendelee watasimama katika sehemu mbalimbali ili waweze kuzuia magari yasikuje ama watu wasikuje. A parting shot ni kwamba sisi kama watu wa Mombasa tarehe 25 yetu tutaianzia kanisani SCK hapa Nkuruma Road saa 12 mpaka saa 3, ambako tutakuwa tunafanya maombi. Minister mwenye atakuwa na minister bishop atakuwa pia bado ni kijana, tuweze kupata maombi pale, Baada ya hapo tunaingia street tukiendelea kucelebrate, kucommemorate na pia vile vile kuhakikisha kwamba mashujaa wetu tunaweza kuwaenzi na tunaweza kuitisha haki vile inavyohitajika. Freedom and justice is coming tomorrow. Thank you so much.
Asante sana, Christine. Probably as we also wind up, let's also hear from you, Mary and Sharon, on how exactly are you preparing, or your community or organization is preparing to participate tomorrow.
Hello. As for me and the people I know, what we are doing tomorrow is kubeba maji, bendera, candle, a placard written the message that you want to pass forward, a phone, either kabambe or whichever case, comfortable shoe, being that we know they can, wanaweza funga barabara, wanaweza fanya gari zigome, so like kubeba viatu comfortable, so in case you need to walk for long, maji nimeshasema, and also ensuring that close people wanajua kwenye tuko, so that they know when to reach out. Another thing I'm going to do is writing down the name of emergency contacts, so that in case of anything, my phone gets lost, I still have a way of contacting people, and coming out in great spirit, because we owe it to our comrades who died. We owe it to our comrades who have been abducted. We owe it to our comrades who have who the state took them before their time to go there in high spirits and demand for their justice. We owe it to them to show up. Yes, we'll show up scared, but we'll still show up. We'll show up in great numbers. We'll show up as Kenyans. We'll show up with no tribal alienation. We'll show up because they're Kenyans, because an injustice to one citizen is an injustice to all. So my clerical call this evening is show up tomorrow. Carry your constitution, carry your ID, carry whatever you feel that you need, and in one way or another, be there. And even if you're not physically there, show up online. Make the hashtag, we will never forget, trend. Make the hashtag that will be there for the day trend, so that even if they're going to try everything else, it's going to be highlighted, and so that you can have more evidence. Yeah, thank you. And thank you so much for hosting this powerful space.
Thank you for that, Mary. Sharon, karibu, let's get to hear from you.
Asante sana, Joy. I love how Miss Gichuki has ended what she was talking about, us showing up scared but still showing up at the end of the day. And there's something a comrade mentioned here, I can't remember if it's Habib or Stefano, and talked about the importance of documentation. We are not going to rubbish this off, kwa sababu kukuwa na gadget kwa protest for purposes of taking a video, you take that video. That is how we saw how karaoke was shot. If someone was not actually aiming at that direction, hiyo ni kitu yenye tunge miss. Maybe a story ingesemwa of maybe things that he did not do, but because someone was there purposely, alikuwa me focus on that, and someone else could be focusing on another. That is how we got to see how an indignified karaoke was shot by police by doing nothing, not even resisting arrest, not even having any, not even armed, just selling masks in the streets. So the importance of us showing up, and venye Gichuki amesema, kuja with very comfortable wearing, whether ni shoes, ni manguo, beba maji, and a message written. Everyone that is going to the streets, I hope there is a message that you want to pass. There is something you're calling out to this government. Usikuje street kama huelewi hata unakuja kufanya nini. Like, let's have purpose, and hata ukasimamishwa uulizwe uko kwa streets, what do you want, you actually have something to say. And at this place penye tumefika, I believe everybody mwenye ako in this country ako fed up na hii government. You just have something to say about it. Calling truth to power, the rogue leadership, education imekuwa privatized, si maji, si hospitali, like everything is just inaenda tu vibaya. And then the leadership enye iko in place saizi haitufikiri hata kabisa, and especially the women who've been elected, whether they are members of parliament, the senators, and especially the women reps wako pale kama flower girls. We are not seeing representation yao on our behalf at all. Hatuoni anything. They are there to massage men's ego na patriarchy, enable patriarchy. So we want to actually have women who wako there, they actually know what they want. Waende pale watetee wanawake na wasichana like they are supposed to actually do. We do not want to see a repeat in history where women, actually there are a lot of women in the front line, but even before in history, but kwa sababu hizi vitu hazikukuwa documented, that is why we do not have a face of Nyanjiru anywhere while she was shot pale Central. By that time ilikuwa inaitwa Kingsley, but she was calling out for injustice when kina Harithuku were arrested. We do not want a repeat of such things where history haiko documented, and showing that women have been on the front line in this fight. They have actually done things, the likes of kina Shakira and all, we can name them. There are a lot of women who are in the front line, and the importance of documenting so that those who are still at home, wale wenye bado hawajagutuka, hawaja realize haya, we actually have power as enshrined in the constitution to also talk about these things. We give them the mic, they get the courage. Mtu akishaona Mary Gichuki here is a very young girl who is able to speak out truth to power, not being afraid, with fear, with a trembling voice, but still speaks. That is very important, so that our growing children, wale wasichana wenye wana come up from a very young age, they get to know and understand even the power that they hold, the strength that they carry, the impact that they can make even as little as they are. Starts from our education system. Tuache tunafundishwa a lot of bullshit history that is not true. Kuna stories mingi sana zenye where women were in the front line that we will not get to learn in this in the education system of this country. So how then do we create these spaces for women to learn, to actually get back their power because they have it? And even when they get that power, then what do they do with it? Unajua, how do they also represent the women that have elected them to be in these spaces? Si kukuja kutuambia vitu zingine funny and we are wondering, okay, we've been fighting for these women spaces, but then when you get them, what do you do with this power? Umeenda umekaa, you sit comfortable. You are in a space where you're able to sit in a decision-making table and you're not making any decisions at all. Unakuwa a yes woman when yes. We do not want repeat of such. And we have very able women who are ready for leadership and to bring very positive change in this country. So let us go through that direction. And I feel like participation kwa maandamano is not the only way. It is one of the ways, but it is not the only way. There are so many ways that you can also participate in this, either online also as well. If you're not able to come for one reason or the other, there are so many things that we can all do. Sisi wote hatuwezi kuwa kwa maandamano, agreed, but then a large number of us can be there, and that will make a difference. Maandamano is one way ya kuonyesha this rogue leadership that tumechoka. This is one of the ways, the strongest ways that they can listen to us. Na waone haya, ukweli the people have rage and let us listen. But there are so many other ways. If you're not able to car online, we kuwa keyboard warrior kesho. When we post the videos, the photos, amplify them online. Let us make this trend, like Gichuki has said. Wacha it trend, even if it's for days. Let this the more it trends, the more this conversation continues, the more people get informed, because there are so many people who, like the online community, they do not touch base with anything that inaendelea. Kwenye wanapata information zao ni online. you know, so hata tukifanya easy engagements zingine huku kwa ground, we will never maybe reach them, but online then a lot of people get to hear this information. It is important, ile ya tell one to tell another, and also itakuwa very important to also know how to kuna pia misinformation na disinformation zenye zinakwanga online sana. It is important to also verify the kind of information that you post and repost as well, so that usijipate pia umeongea vitu zenye again hauelewi. But then tukiwa kwa protest, these are very live videos that are being shared. You can repost them also for wacha iende. Even the international communities, let them see. If it took another an international media whatever to actually air out the story of last year's protest, well, tuko nazo huku in Kenya who sat pretty for a whole year and said nothing. You know, so let us just do it. Let us see the positive side of it, that the world is also watching. Let us have let us have that going on far and wide. It is also important that everyone else stands in solidarity with Kenya. Kenya changes for the better. The whole of Africa changes for the better as well. Joy, thank you again for holding this conversation. It is very timely, and tunashukuru. We would also love to have more of this. Zisikuwe tu ni kama zile trigger. More of this conversation as we proceed. We can also have another one to also unwrap what we've like after. This is before, now we can have another after the protest and see what happened, what needs to change, what more can we do, where can we put more effort, and so on and so forth. So thank you very much, Joy.
Very well said, Sharon. You've really captured a lot, and you have poured a lot of insight into actually generally everything, and that perspective was it was really needed into this space. So thank you for bringing it in and capturing everything so beautifully and in depth. And you're very right, this is a conversation that should not end here. Ruth, before I throw it back to you to also give your parting shot, I'll give the mic to one more speaker. Isaac, I'm seeing you wanted to kuchangia kidogo. I'll give you the mic so you can quickly share your thoughts with us before I throw it back to Ruth for your parting shot. So Isaac, if you're ready, the mic is yours. Karibu. Isaac, if you can hear me, go ahead, because we want to wind up this conversation and let people have the proper rest and proper, mental and physical preparation on about what everything has been said tonight. So, Isaac, if you're not ready, let me hand it over to you, Ruth. Give us your parting shot on this conversation.
Thank you so much, Joy, once again. Co-hosting this space today has been a really interesting, courageous thing. A lot of listeners, a lot of speakers have said that the conversation has been so timely. Indeed, it is so timely. And it is my hope and prayer that the listeners and the speakers and everybody, hata mwenye amechungulia TV conversation, kama alikuwa na uoga, at least he or she has been able to be encouraged in one way or another. That we've been able to spark a spirit in somebody. We've been able to change the mind of somebody to show up tomorrow, either physically or virtually. And as Mwenesi has said, this is not a conversation that should end today, or is a one-stop conversation. IPOA chairperson said it is today that more than 20 people have died in the police cell after Albert Ojwang. To means that our anger should not be one day or 2 day or a week anger. We should continue demanding accountability and transparency to the people that have been killed in the police cell, to the people who have been killed by the police officers. Wakisema na waafisa wa usalama, and they're bringing chaos, they're bringing death in our street. They're bringing anger to us. They're bringing loss to the families, to the society. They're bringing mental health to people. So as you're going tomorrow to the streets, we are going tomorrow to the streets, afraid, but you're going. We don't know what's next, but you're going. We are showing up in big numbers. And now we are saying, remember not to forget, and sitting in numbers. They can kill whoever they want, how they want, but they cannot kill all of us. Hawezi tuua wote. So we show up. Back to you, Joy.
Thank you so much, Ruth. And from what we've had in this very powerful and timely conversation tonight, we have been reminded that courage doesn't mean we are afraid. We've heard from people here who are still afraid, but they're not afraid to speak up. Courage doesn't mean we are not afraid. It means we act anyway. In the face of fear, in the face of surveillance, or even attempts to being silenced or abducted, Kenyans are still organizing, still dreaming, and still fighting in one way or another. And it's not only Kenyans, because this has actually gone even beyond our borders. And to everyone listening, we have already heard from our speakers, whether you'll be out in the streets tomorrow, whether you'll be raising your voice online, or even just holding this fight in your heart. Your courage really matters. Your voice matters, just as we have heard from all these powerful voices that have encouraged us to tonight and uplifted us in one way or another, or even just educated us about what it means to, just speak up, what it means for you and what it means for the country. And as we say here in our Shangazi network, we don't wait for permission to speak. We speak because we must speak. So remember to stay safe from now henceforth, and stay fierce. It doesn't matter how young you are, how old you are, whether you're a woman, whether you're from which civil organization. We are all speaking in one voice. And just a vote of thanks to all our speakers tonight, everyone who has contributed to this space tonight. Christine, thank you so much. Mary, Sharon, even our contributors in the audience, Stefano, Habib, Peter, and everyone who has made this conversation very impactful. We are really looking forward to having a post-mortem of this discussion, just to weigh in what impact has been left and what impact has been actually felt by our society. So we are really looking forward to having this conversation again, because as we have said, sorry, it doesn't stop there. This is something that will keep highlighting, and as Mwanzo, we are always ready to be the voice of the voiceless. Actually, our motto is uncensored and undoubted. That means we actually highlight anything, any injustice, any oppression, especially to civil society organizers, activists, youth leaders. We are there to provide a platform where they can speak up, where they can lift their voices up to the people. We are ready to always show the injustices that are happening within the society, not just because majority of our audience is in Tanzania, but even in Kenya, in East Africa as a whole. So thank you so much for joining in tonight's conversation. Thank you so much for raising your voices. Continue to speak up, continue to stand in solidarity with our brothers and sisters out there. So on behalf of Mwanzo TV, I'd like to once again